So let's talk about Elon Musk, right? The billionaire founder of SpaceX, Neuralink, OpenAI, and so many other companies. And he's also the CEO of Tesla, the world's highest valued automaker. Now, over the last 2 years, he's come under some scrutiny for the things he says and the things he tweets about, right? Now, also within the same couple of years, he's climbed in rank to become the richest person in the world, leading Jeff Bezos by almost $100 billion. Now, that brings me to my $100 billion question. Is Elon Musk a bad guy? Does he deserve the scrutiny that the media and the society as a whole seem to put him under? I believe not, but let's find out. Hey, this is Bipin and welcome to A World Within, where I try to answer the fundamental questions in life with the help of readings, reflections, art, affirmations, and honestly, anything else that helps me understand this world just a little bit better. So today, let's talk about Elon Musk. Because despite leading this entire car industry into electric vehicle revolution, despite changing the entire space landscape with SpaceX, despite changing the solar landscape with Solar City, Elon Musk seems to get a lot of bad rep in this world. And I believe that he does not deserve this negativity from the society, from the media, and from everybody else that hates on Elon Musk, right? That is why I wanted to explore Elon Musk's life, whatever we know of his personal life, of his endeavors, of his goals and visions, to try and see if he has some form of malice towards the world, or if he is just an eccentric intellectual that is trying his best to change the world for the better. So Elon Musk was born in Pretoria, South Africa, right? He had a pretty abusive dad, and his dad and mom split when he was 10 years old. And his mom moved him and his brother Kimball Musk to Canada after they finished high school, right? But interesting fact about Musk is when he was 10, 11, 12 years old, he was a young kid, he used to love playing computer games, right? And he realized that he could actually make money selling computer games, so he learned how to program and make a computer game. That way, he could use that money to buy a better computer. And that story slightly sums up how Elon Musk's mentality works, right? He's not this guy with a diabolical plan. No, he sees an opportunity and he does the right thing to grasp that opportunity and move on to the next step in life. So after moving to Canada, Musk moved to America to complete his degree in UPenn in Pennsylvania, right? He graduated with a degree in economics and physics. However, right after he graduated, he decided to move to Stanford to try and study electric vehicle technology and finish his PhD, right? But even in Stanford, he didn't really last that long because he saw an opportunity to get his foot into the internet business that was, starting to boom back in 1997, 1998. So an opportunistic Elon Musk decided to keep his studies on hold so he could focus on maybe creating something for himself or getting a job in the internet, right? However, at that time, there was only one internet company, Landscape, and Musk didn't get a job there. So what Musk decided to do, instead of giving up and going back to college, is he decided maybe he wanted to open his own company. So with the help of his brother and one of his mom's friend and a couple of investors, he opened Jip2, right? Internet website that kept directory of businesses. So they started getting all these contracts with magazines and newspapers to store these directories for businesses, so people could search them on the internet instead of physically on a newspaper. And that business actually eventually sold for over $300 million to Compaq, right? Out of which Elon Musk got $22 million. Now, at this point, when Jip2 was initially being founded, Elon Musk was broke. He didn't have much money. He had moved from Pennsylvania to California with only $2,000 and his car, right? So he didn't have enough money to afford both an apartment and an office for Jip2. So he just got his office and slept on a couch in his office for that long. So when Jip2 sold and Elon Musk made $22 million, he became an overnight millionaire, right? He went and bought his McLaren F1. He did it up, right? Elon Musk, someone coming from a poor family in South Africa to America and, living the dream of founding your own company on the internet and selling it for millions of dollars and becoming a millionaire. He got to experience that and he really lived it. That was one of the times when people started, calling him the Iron Man of real life. I was actually back in Nepal as well in like 9th or 10th grade, and I had heard of this Iron Man of real life. That was Elon Musk. But, when I saw him in video, he's such a nerdy guy that's, just kind of very much in his own head. And I now find so much more appreciation for him because of that as well. But anyway, getting back on track, after that, Elon Musk started going ahead and opening PayPal because he wanted to change the financial structure so that people didn't have to go to the bank. People didn't have to give each other cash all the time anytime they wanted to have a certain transaction. He wanted to make it so that people could just send each other a email and that would work as a cash transaction, right? So for that, he created X.com, which later became PayPal after partnering with Peter Thiel's company, right? Now, one of the crazy things about PayPal is that the reason it got so big so fast is because there was like some kind of bonus thing where, if you recommend others, it's like a sign-up bonus, and they sign up, then you get money and they get money, and it really spiraled and people really caught up to it, right? Now, a few years later, PayPal sold to eBay for $1.5 billion. Now, next year, right after that, that was, I think, 2002 when eBay bought PayPal. And in 2003, Elon Musk went and founded SpaceX because he saw that all these rockets were being just flown once and just gotten rid of. And it was such a big waste, and it was causing the government so much money. So he realized maybe he could, try his foray into it and see if he could actually make a difference and create a form of, reusable rocket so the government could use those rockets instead of, relying on Russia, let's say, for transporting all our astronauts or any type of space-related like satellites or space station-related equipments or anything else like that, right? So Elon Musk wanted to do that, so he invested about $100 million of his earnings into SpaceX, into this new company that nobody had thought to do before. He's one of the first private companies related to space because no private company had attempted to make rockets before. But see, SpaceX got awarded so many contracts from NASA and stuff, and it's one of the first choices now for America to transfer their astronauts into, the outer orbit, for America to take satellites into the outer orbit, or, even take humans into space station back and forth and everything else like that. And SpaceX does it all with reusable rockets. Crazy, right? Also in 2003, I believe, Elon Musk put in about $6.5–7 million into this small startup electric vehicle company called Tesla. And he became the chairman of that company and started working very closely with the development team to bring out their first model. Now, this is very interesting because one of the first things that I realized when I think about like Elon joining Tesla is that when he first came from Pennsylvania to Stanford, he was intending to study electric vehicle technology. He actually wanted to study this technology that could change our reliance on petroleum, right? On internal combustion engine. Now, that was in 2003 when Elon joined Tesla, right? And they had been working, they brought out Roadster, but they were still struggling as a company to ramp up production, to come up with new models and everything else like that. And especially in 2008, when the market crashed, every car company struggled, especially car companies, because they're one of the first things people stop buying when a market crashes, right? So car companies struggled, and Tesla almost went bankrupt. Elon Musk famously says they were maybe 2 or 3 days away from total bankruptcy. Now, however, Elon at that time bought 40 million worth of Tesla's stake and loaned the company another $40 million. That was his stake in the company, and subsequently, that same year joined as the CEO of Tesla. Now, one of the coolest thing about Tesla's CEO Elon Musk is that when he joined Tesla, he knew that the company couldn't afford to pay him a salary, right? So instead, he offered a different payment system where the company would pay him based on the milestones he reached as a CEO of that company. Meaning, if he reached a certain financial milestone, or a certain valuation milestone, or a certain model production milestone, then he would subsequently get either stock options or cash, depending on what he chose at that time, right? So meaning once Tesla went public and their market cap hit $500 million, then he got a bonus, or he got a payout, right? And once it hit $1 billion, he got another payout. So there were subsequent payouts like that he accepted instead of regular pay, because he knew the company, at least initially, couldn't afford to pay him. Now, a lot of people see that as his way of dodging taxes and stuff, which I understand, but I still don't think that was truly the intention at that time, because Tesla was really struggling and he needed to get him out of that point. And he put in a lot of money, $80 million of your own money into a startup. So because you believe that they could make this dream of electric vehicles true is a big deal. And I don't see how people don't see it as one of those like positive and negative situations, you know what I mean? Like something of a balance, right? Because we needed Tesla, or else we wouldn't see electric vehicles in the road for another 10, 15, 20 years probably, right? Without somebody clearly leading the path, none of these legacy automakers would have made electric vehicles for a long time. So in that way, no, Elon Musk did a very good job, and I don't see the scrutiny about that. Anyway, moving on, Tesla is now a very successful company. SpaceX is a very successful company as well. It has won almost all NASA contracts for transferring, humans or payloads of any kind into space. And in the same way, Elon Musk has gone on to become the richest person in the whole world. At one point, his valuation was almost over $300 billion, which is ridiculous, right? Who is worth $300 billion? And because of that, he's come under a lot of scrutiny, especially from a more liberal crowd, from a lot of the Democrats that would like to tax unrecognized gains, right? And which means, all of the things that are tied up in his stocks and bonds and all of these, right? Those aren't taxed until he exercises his options. So it's a whole thing. However, because of that, people are mad that he is doing that. Now, for me, because of the initial struggle of Tesla, I don't see that as being his long-term plan. And also knowing Elon Musk and the way he has just gone from one thing to another based on the need he sees in the world, or based on the opportunity he sees in front of him, I don't think it's an elaborate plan for him to dodge his taxes in that way, right? Because, if that was the case, then he would probably have offshore accounts, and he would probably have so much, tied up in United Nations fund or in some Swiss bank account or something. But Elon Musk doesn't have any of that. Elon Musk has publicly shown his finances, and we can see clearly that he doesn't have an offshore account. He's not trying to hide his finances. He would want to pay his taxes as he exercises his options, right? But he hasn't had to exercise his options, because if he exercised a large option right now, like if he sold a lot of Tesla shares, then the Tesla valuation as a company would go down by a lot, because he's a majority stakeholder. I don't see how you don't get it, right? Because if he sells a lot of Tesla stocks, that means the rest of the investors are going to freak out, because they're going to think that something bad is about to happen in Tesla, and they're going to sell all their stocks. So he can't really do that either, right? So I don't know how a lot of people aren't seeing this, right? He just doesn't have the option in that sense. So he's not going to sell all his stock so that he can pay his taxes. But as he sells, his stock, as he exercises his options, as he's bound to do in the future, he pays his taxes. Like he recently paid $11 billion in taxes, right? But now that's the same thing. It's like, how many other billionaires are there in the world that we don't know about, that have just hidden away from public view because they just don't want to be known? They've just offshore accounts. They live in islands that we don't know about. I was reading about some super mega yachts that have like missile defense systems. How rich, wealthy, and bad do you have to have a missile system defense and some submarine escape pod? You know what I mean? If there are people that are that wealthy, that are spending 200, 300, 400, 500 million dollars on these super yachts and super fucking mansions to hide from the world, to secure themselves and, just enjoy whatever they're trying to enjoy in life. How are we so focused on someone like Elon Musk, who sold most of his properties last year because he didn't want to have too much material things, because they were distracting him from his focus of taking humans to Mars and making us a multi-planetary creature, right? So it's surprising to me that, all of the things that he does doesn't show us that he's not really ill-intended, right? Like, there's a lot of people in this world that clearly have ill intentions. And, I think also the problem is that, there are a lot of bad things happening in our world, and people need to kind of have an idea of, why there is this much bad. And when someone gives you a solution like, oh, Elon Musk is rich, he doesn't pay his taxes, that's why the world is so bad, that means a lot of people are gonna just hold on to that idea and just attack him without understanding what he is about or what he's trying to do for the world, right? Because if someone was to just tell you the world is really bad and we have no idea why it's so bad and we have no idea who's doing it, then that's a scary thought for people. That's not something we just want to accept, right? So we would rather hold on to a false ideology than really pursue a very difficult or almost improbable truth. So that's another thing, right? Anyway, see, now that's my thing. Long run, I don't think Elon Musk is a bad guy. I think there's a lot worse in this world, and someone that is so eccentric and puts himself out in the world. I mean, for God's sake, he has Asperger's, right? He is a high functioning autistic individual that has massive intellectualism. He's a visionary, he's a creative genius, and he has large goals for all of humanity, because he wants humans to succeed beyond Earth, right? Because now this is how I see Elon Musk, right? In Earth, he's trying to change the environment by changing the cars we drive into electric, so we reduce the amount of carbon we put out into the world by a lot. And his thing is, if we do not succeed in making the Earth last forever, which we're never gonna, right? Then we need a backup, which he wants to create by helping us become a multi-planetary species. And for that, he wants to travel to Mars. And, once we can find a base in a different planet like Mars, then we have the chance and the knowledge to keep doing it more. So we as a creature become, everlasting. If not everlasting, at least we will last a lot longer than we would if we were just existing in this one world. So, someone that's, thinking so far ahead and trying to really help the world become better and, help his whole species do better, I don't think has totally the ill intention that people associate him with, So that's my 2 cents in this topic, right? I do not believe that Elon is a bad guy because I don't think he's ill-intentioned. I don't think he has a larger plan that he's working to diabolically take over the world. No, I think Elon has put his entire mind out into the world through his tweets, through his unfiltered communications, through his podcast interviews, through his smoking weed with Joe Rogan. Whatever he's done, he's put himself completely out there. And, vulnerability is amazing. Vulnerability is attractive in this world right now. I mean, Pete Davidson, right? Vulnerability is attractive. So I don't know why we scrutinize, Elon Musk for putting himself out there like this when he could easily be hiding all of his stuff. He could be hiding all of his wealth in offshore accounts and freezing them in these donation, funds and whatever, right? But he doesn't do it. He puts himself out there and he puts himself out to scrutiny, and I really respect that about him, and that kind of gives me more trust in him. I trust him more than, let's say, I trust Bill Gates. Because, I mean, Bill Gates is very powerful. He can change economic and educational, environments of a town, city in no time. And that for me is almost more scary than someone like Elon Musk. I know Elon Musk influences, cryptos in the same way and this, that, but I don't think it's ill-intentioned. That's what I believe. Anyway, that's what I came down to, right? Elon Musk, I don't think is a bad guy. He gets a bad rep, but that's all it is, a bad rep. Alright guys, that was a controversial episode that I'm very happy I made because I wanted to get a lot of this out of my system, right? I had been thinking this for a long time because I keep seeing all these people, talking crap about Musk or somebody else, and I'm trying to see whether it's warranted or not. And with some people, it's really warranted, right? But with Musk, I don't think so. And honestly, I have had this argument with a lot of even my family members because a lot of people think I like Musk because I'm a fanboy, but no, not really. I'm a fanboy because of all of his flaws and all of his, good things. He's a visionary, and I really respect him for that. But he's also a disruptor. And the artist in me really loves that because when he does the things that he does to challenge the establishment and lead the entire establishment with his eccentric new views, that is amazing to me. Because he's not just pointing out the problems in the world. He's not just pointing out the problems in people. He's actually leading the whole world towards what he believes are the solutions to our problems. He's not waiting for somebody else to do it. He's doing them, and he's doing a great job at it. If you disagree, leave a comment. I am willing to have a conversation with you about it, but that's all I can do, right? But thank you so much for staying till here. I kind of love making this video. I hope you follow my channel, leave a like on this video, whatever it is. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week. Namaste. Goodbye.